Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me. This is my second day sharing the passages that are most prominent to me from book 28 in my Book a Week series, Michael Singer's The Untethered Soul. Before I do the vocal readings today, I want to share a little bit about how I've personally maneuvered with my inner voice or inner voices. I have imagery around the way that I navigate this that I want to share. It's imagery that has really gelled for me through the years. And what is emphasized in this imagery is what has been essential for me in my work with the peekaboo of my ego. And that is a gentle approach with everything that is going on inside my mind. And I also notice that this gentle approach with myself and my inner voice or inner voices mirrors the gentle approach that I have toward voices outside of me. They're almost identical, and this is rooted in compassion and understanding and the knowing that if and when I don't understand, that if I can route my way toward understanding, there I will find relief. And so the imagery that I want to share today is that when my inner voice is active, it's typically when there's a buildup of energy surrounding an event that is unprocessed or an event that has happened relatively recently that has triggered a past event that was unprocessed. And what I see in my mind when this inner voice becomes active is actually an assembly of inner voices that I personify. I see a number of characters that have a different thing to say about what's going on. And I see a boardroom filled with different characters who'd like to have their say and they'd like to be heard. And I, in having worked with this imagery so many times, what I know and what reinforces my use of this imagery with myself is that the more quickly I gently offer and welcome each of these voices, these characters, to speak up and to say what they need to say, the more quickly they feel, in essence, respected and heard, and the less loud they need to be. So what I do, let's say I'm going to think of something that would be incredibly triggering for me. Let's say that someone in my social space or in my family space has expressed something that makes me feel that I've been misinterpreted, or that they're judging me in a way that, of course, I would never prefer to be judged. This would trigger many past events that may not be fully processed. And my heart rate would go up, and my breath might quicken. I might get a little bit dizzy in the head, and then I would hear one inner character judging me as I perceive myself to be judged from outside, and joining that team, so to speak, and saying something like, "Oh, well, you sure aren't acting the way you should be acting. I can see why someone would perceive you that way." And then another voice would say, "Oh, I don't want this. I need to change it. I need to figure out a way to control this situation. Maybe I should pick up my phone and call the person who's misperceived me and explain myself. And then there's another character in the boardroom who is pissed off and defending me and saying, good riddance with anyone who doesn't understand you. They can just get out of here. How dare they? How dare they misperceive you? In turn, judging them for my perception that they are judging me and striking back in a combative way. So these are three characters of the inner voices that are patterns in my own processing. And they have a voice, and then I insert a gentleness, a spaciousness around this. What I think is essential here from the root of compassion is space. And we can insert this in a number of ways. We can insert this with semantic verbal patterning, like, of course each of those voices would emerge. Oh, I see the origin of each of those. It makes sense. My understanding of my own inner voices cultivates my understanding of those voices outside of my body as well, and my compassion grows. Each time I do this, the compassion that I feel emerges more readily, more quickly. And each time I do this, it feels larger. My expansion feels more vibrant, more broadened, and so it is reinforced. What happens in this spaciousness is that the lack of reactivity changes the pulsing of the energy that is collected and that is unprocessed. And this energy gets the opportunity of being processed. The key thing that I want to share about the way that I navigate with this imagery is the gentle spirit, the compassionate, understanding spirit that I have toward each of the characters of my inner voice. That is absolutely essential. I note that without that compassion, each of them has what could be reflected on as a tantrum. And they, personified, tend to feel that they must speak up and yell and be more forceful about what they have to say. Whereas if I give them understanding and I give them the essential, quintessential mother, compassion, understanding, I hear you, of course. They feel heard. They don't have as much of a need to holler when another similar circumstance emerges in the system. And the next unresolved trauma or burden or collection of energy in my system that's triggered in my future will be something that the inner voices feel more trusting toward me about. They don't feel like they have to take over the board meeting, grab the gavel, or grab the reins. These are the images that I imagine. And take over what's happening. And in turn, my behavior becomes more aligned with the essence of what I want to manifest in my human form. Because these inner voices that are defending me or disapproving of me don't feel that they need to take the reins of my system and act out. I'm going to circle around to a reading that is associated with what I've been speaking to today. I'm on page 66. Just decide that no matter what the mind says, you aren't getting involved. You don't fight the mind. In fact, you don't even try to change it. You just make a game out of relaxing in the face of its melodrama. You simply learn how to release the tendency for getting drawn into the energy. The root is where the consciousness is aware of the pool of these energies. I'm skipping down a bit, lower on page 66 here. There is nothing wrong with feeling the energies of fear, jealousy, or attraction. It's not your fault that these energies exist. All the attractions, repulsions, thoughts, and feelings don't make any difference. They don't make you pure or impure. They are not you. You are the one who's watching. And that one is pure consciousness. Don't think you'd be free if you just didn't have these kinds of feelings. It's not true. If you can be free even though you're having these kinds of feelings, then you're really free. Because there will always be something. Without further ado, I'll move on toward today's readings. Enjoy.
Page 37. As you pull back into the consciousness, this world ceases to be a problem. It's just something you're watching. It keeps changing, but there's no sense of that being a problem. The more you are willing to just let the world be something you're aware of, the more it will let you be who you are. The awareness, the self, the Atman, the soul. You realize that you're not who you thought you were. You're not even a human being. You just happen to be watching one. You will begin to have deep experiences within your own center of consciousness. These will be deep, intuitive experiences of the true nature of self. You will find that you are tremendously expansive. When you start to explore consciousness instead of form, you realize that your consciousness only appears to be small and limited because you're focusing on small and limited objects. Page 43. What you'll see if you watch carefully is that you have a phenomenal amount of energy inside of you. It doesn't come from food and it doesn't come from sleep. This energy is always available to you. At any moment, you can draw upon it. It just wells up and fills you from inside. When you're filled with this energy, you feel like you could take on the world. And when it is flowing strongly, you can actually feel it coursing through you in waves. It gushes up spontaneously from deep inside and restores, replenishes, and recharges you. Page 44. You should know about this energy because it's yours. It's your birthright. And it's unlimited. You can call upon it at any time you want. It has nothing to do with age. Some 80-year-old people have the energy and enthusiasm of a child. They can work long hours for 7 days a week. It's just energy. Energy doesn't get old. It doesn't get tired. And it doesn't need food. What it needs is openness and receptivity. This energy is equally available to everybody. The sun does not shine differently on different people. If you're good, it shines on you. If you did something bad, it shines on you. It's the same with the inner energy. The only difference is that with the inner energy, you have the ability to close up inside and block it. When you close, the energy stops flowing. When you open, all the energy rushes up inside of you. True spiritual teachings are about this energy and how to open it. Page 47. The more you stay open, the more the energy flow can build. At some point, so much energy comes into you that it starts flowing out of you. You feel it as waves pouring off of you. You can actually feel it flowing off your hands, out your heart, and through other energy centers. All these energy centers open, and a tremendous amount of energy starts flowing out of you. What is more, the energy affects other people. People can pick up on your energy, and you're feeding them with this flow. If you're willing to open even more, it never stops. You become a source of light for all those around you. Remember, if you love life, nothing is worth closing over. Nothing ever is worth closing your heart over. Page 51. Your eyes are cameras that send electronic images of the world into you. This is true of all your senses. They sense the world, convert the information, transmit the data through electrical nerve impulses, and then the impressions get rendered in your mind. Your senses are, indeed, electronic sensing devices. But if the energy patterns that are coming into your psyche create disturbance, you will resist them and not allow them to pass through you. When you do this, the energy patterns actually get blocked within you. Page 53. Long term, the energy patterns that cannot make it through you are pushed out of the forefront of the mind and held until you are prepared to release them. These energy patterns, which hold tremendous detail about the events associated with them, are real. They don't just disappear. When you are unable to allow life's events to pass through you, they stay inside and become a problem. These patterns may be held within you for a very long time. Page 56. Two kinds of experiences can occur that block the heart. You are either trying to push energies away because they bother you, or you are trying to keep energies close because you like them. In both cases, you are not letting them pass, and you are wasting precious energy by blocking the flow through resisting and clinging. Page 57. Just like the physical body purges bacteria and other foreign matter, the natural flow of your energy will purge the stored patterns from your heart. Your reward is a permanently open heart. There's no more valve. You live in love, and it feeds you and strengthens you. That is an open heart. That is the instrument of the heart as it was meant to be. Allow yourself to experience every note the heart can play. If you relax and release, this purification of your heart is a wonderful thing. Set your eyes on the highest state you can imagine and don't take them off. If you slip, just get back up. It doesn't matter. The very fact that you even want to go through this process of freeing the energy flow means you are great. You will get there. Just keep letting go. Once you've made the commitment to free yourself of that scared person inside, you'll notice that there's a clear decision point at which your growth takes place. Spiritual growth is about the point at which you start to feel your energy change. For instance, somebody says something. You start to feel the energy get a little strange inside. You will actually start to feel a tightening. That is your cue that it's time to grow. It's not time to defend yourself because you don't want the part of you that you would be defending. If you don't want it, let it go.